You know when you like friend or acquaintance or whoever suddenly becomes very successful and then they have like this like glimmer of an attitude that they're like trying to suppress. Madison knows. Madison's successful now.
Ah!
Are you trying to
Hilarious.
suppress your glimmer of an attitude or whatever?
I'm constantly suppressing. All my energy goes to that.
Go ahead, Matt. Do your stuff.
Okay, this is season 3, and we have a filmmaker on for the first time since Michelle, our own podcast trivia.
Oh God. Filmmaker since wait, was it Eli?
I don't know.
No.
I was hoping
I
you'd tell
actually
me.
don't remember. Oh
I think
no.
it might be the first one. Might be the first.
No.
Writer,
You're gonna be
director.
insulting somebody.
2 more chances.
Me? Two more
It's
chances?
okay. No, you don't have to.
Do
do 2
you
more chances.
you have 2 more chances?
I'll go back and look it up later, but we have Madison Hatfield. Hello, Madison.
Hello. Thanks for having me. I'm going to say I'm the first. If you guys can't figure it out, then I'm the first filmmaker.
I think
just-
that's fair.
The only one that matters. We'll edit that
Yes.
out if I'm wrong.
Oh God.
A quick intro on Madison, who was a Film Pipeline finalist of ours not too long ago with her wonderful short film. Well, let me read the bio.
Yeah. How about that?
Madison Hatfield, what a great name. I'm going to ask her if there's any relations to the McCoys.
Summer.
and the Hatfields and
Wait. But on the previous episode, you said Madison Hatfield sounded like the spark of summer.
It did sound like the spark of summer. Mm-hmm. It was in context to other stuff, but
Love that.
Actually,
Spark of
it
summer.
was really not in context to anything. He just pulled it out of his hat, and it was amazing.
There was another name.
It was mine.
Yeah. Was it yours? Oh, Michelle
Yes, it
Daniel.
was.
Yeah. The Promise of Fall. That's what it sounds like.
I don't think that was what you said, but that's
All right,
fine.
whatever.
We'll go with that.
Madison's like, why did I could have been on Conan's podcast. All right. At any rate, Madison Hatfield. She's a writer, actor, and filmmaker based in the great city of Atlanta, Georgia. She didn't put that in her bio. I added that. She and frequent collaborator Jonah Mitchell are currently writing a feature adaptation of the YA novel The Sky Blues for Walden Media. Her latest short film, I Could Dom, which I haven't seen yet, but I've read about and supported and was wonderful. Just premiered at Aspen Shorts Fest, and as an actor, I'm going to ask her a little question about that too. She's been featured on FX's Atlanta. I've seen her episode, NBC's Chicago Med, The Other Black Girl on Hulu, and other TV shows, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Do you go by actor or actress? Is that a stupid
I
question?
tend to use actor, but I don't really bristle at actress, but I know that some people do. And so as a rule of thumb, I just stick with actor. But yeah,
I feel like I have to go out of my way to think about saying actress for the most part. And I even mentioned today to someone in Atlanta who's a good friend of mine. And I said, I'm talking to Madison Hatfield, who's a director and actor and writer. And I said actor in my text. And then I thought about it later. I was like, I wonder if they're going to get offended that I said actor instead of actress.
No, I mean, I care about so little, it really doesn't matter. But I feel like it's easier to just use the same one for everybody. Everybody's an actor.
There was a movement.
Everybody.
Sure. I remember like 5 or 10 years ago, there was like a push just to get rid of the label of actress altogether and just say we're all actors. And then actresses were like, no, fuck you. And then like it went back and forth, and now I don't know where it's at. Anyway, just curious.
Yeah.
Very
if someone
minor
cares
point.
enough to correct me, let it, I will call anybody whatever they want.
Well, I think
Sure.
it's interesting that there is any sort of, gender distinction at all. If it's a director, you don't say directress.
What a weird thing. I mean, technically,
that's so
probably a
weird.
word. Technically a word, but not one that anyone ever used. Yeah.
But
I'm
like
pretty-
president, I mean, as a female president, you don't say, I don't even know what you'd say.
Presidentress, obviously.
Or, I mean, I guess you say Madam President, but still, it's,
I'm going to go
No.
with presidentress.
Anyway, back on track.
Before we dig into the Walden Media project that you're working on, which is all very exciting, well, let's talk about Post Citrus, which was the short film that you placed with in Film Pipeline, which was great. And then I Could Dom. Are you the type of director who goes into a short film and has a specific idea, like I want to comment on this, and then you build the story around that, or is it kind of the opposite?
No, yeah, I've I never know what I'm doing, and it all comes together in the end. But for Post Citrus, I literally saw a picture of a woman online who was wearing like half orange peels as a bikini top, and found that to be just so hilarious to think about. Like, what if I tried to do that? And then I wrote an entire 11-page movie about that, which ended up being a commentary on sort of my experiences being a fat person, specifically being a fat woman, and the ways that people, and especially people who care and love about me very, very much, talk about me and talk about my body, and think about me and think about my body. But I did not set out to write that story. And then I Could Dom. I think I Could Dumb was literally a sentence that I said out loud to a friend of mine. And they were like, no, you couldn't. And I was like, what a funny idea. And then it, as it went on, it became this very, for me, profound meditation on people pleasing, which is something that I've struggled with for a long time. So I think that, especially for a short film, because you have both the restriction and the freedom of really only being able to focus on one idea, it's really fascinating for me to just start with something that makes me laugh and then see where that takes me emotionally, just because that's the kind of work that I do. I like humor and heart combined is very much my brand. So I start typically with the humor, and then the heart sort of finds its way in as I go. And that's my process, I guess.
I ask because so many filmmakers seem to not know like what their perspective is going into it. I think their goal is to, I'm assuming most of them, their goal is to just, well, let me just make a really good short film. And then like you're trying to make a good short film and a good story without a like perspective. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's where a lot of short films tend to fail. And why your short films tend to be ones I've seen really excellent. So
Thank you. Yeah, I think, I try to stay as specific as I can. I try to stay as, I talk about this a lot. I'm always trying to delight myself. And for me, part of that delight is finding where the genuine emotion is in something. And I love it. I love short films. I just went to Aspen Shorts Fest. I watched all 70 short films that were programmed, and was just reminded what a remarkable art form it is, because you are asking an entire universe to happen in, usually 15 minutes or less. Right. So it's like, it's such a, it seems so restricting. And then you watch 70 of them and you're like, oh my God, you can do anything. Like it's such a, but you do have to be so focused. Your craft has to be really honed. And, but when it works, it just works. It's such a remarkable piece. Big fan of shorts over here. Huge.
Yeah. I think I connected to, perhaps Michelle, you have the same personal experience, just like body positivity and body image. And you wouldn't know by looking at me as the Adonis that I am now. But there was a time when I wasn't terribly in shape. So I was kind of like the fat kid. And, it's something you struggle with your whole life. And I don't know, with Post Citrus, just kind of seeing that interplay on screen, I had that personal connection to it. And I think everyone's had that some sort of a body image issue at some point. Yeah, not Michelle. Michelle's too perfect.
You're very funny.
Yes, I try.
Yeah.
It was interesting to me. I didn't do a huge festival run with Post Citrus, but I did play at Atlanta Film Festival, and then some other, mostly like based in the Southeast festivals. And I did have, a lot of people come up to me and talk to me about relating very specifically to the body image element of it. But I was surprised at how many people came up to me who didn't necessarily have that as part of their lived experiences, but there are all kinds of reasons that people and even and sometimes especially the people that we love can underestimate us, right? Or make an assumption that because we are this thing or look this way or, have this history, we must feel a certain way about that thing, that history, that. And so, I had, people of color come up to me and talk to me. It reminded me of some of their experiences with white people, right? Like it's this, it's just to me it's a film about asking the people who love you to see you the way that you see yourself, and I think that's even a line that's in there. And it was important for me to not frame my fatness as a problem in that film, because I don't consider my fatness to be a problem in my day-to-day life, but it is made a problem by other people. And there are some ways in which I will never be able to address that because it is so deeply seated in our societal fabric to see that as a problem. But I can start making changes with the people who are directly around me. And so, yeah, Post Citrus was sort of this almost like a fantasy of like, here's something I wish I'd said to so many people growing up who just made assumptions about how I felt about my own body and what I felt I could do and be in the body that I have. But it was interesting to see how that experience that I portrayed on film, it did, cross over into other kinds of marginalization and other kinds of just lived experiences that result in a similar kind of vibe, interaction. So
that perception, I feel like has changed a little bit over the last maybe 10 years or so. Like you were more accepting of like different, not just different body types and, and the physicality of anything, but this is going to sound strange to say, post-Trump, pre-Trump era. See what I did there? I'm reverse psychology. It's weird to say, but like we're more tolerant now than we were 20 years ago, 15 years ago. Right. Yeah. So overall, I just think the worst voices are now the loudest. Right. So, rolling out content, how demoralizing is that for an artist? But that's what it is. But producing more artistic visions, how about that, is just so important to combat like the other noise that's the negative end of the spectrum, so that's why I'm appreciative of short films like this coming out. And I say short films because it's so hard to make a feature. Like just do what you can, to get messaging out there in the most creative way possible.
Absolutely. And short films are also a great way to, I Could Dom in particular is a short film, and it stands, I think, really well on its own as a short film, but it is also a proof of concept for a feature film because there's a feature, script. And I talk to, independent filmmakers a lot who, have a feature that they really want to make, or sometimes it's they have a show, they have a pilot, whatever. And I'm like, if there's a way that you can write a short film version of it that doesn't necessarily even have to ultimately make its way into the larger project that you have in mind, but a short film that captures the characters, captures the tone, captures just the general vibe of what you're trying to do, and yet can also exist on its own is such a good tool to have because it can take you to film festivals. It's so much more fun to watch a short film than it is to read a deck. As much as I love a deck, a short film is always going to be more fun. And it's obviously so much more manageable to get a short film made than it is to get a feature film made, especially if you've never done one before. So I'm a big proponent of the short as a proof of concept, as long as it exists just as well on its own as a standalone short as it would if it was not a proof of concept. Because I do think that you can watch something and be like, oh, I feel unsatisfied. I feel like I don't have the full picture. It's a proof of concept should not just be the first scene of your feature, because then where's the rest of it? But potentially there's a scene within it that would work well, or so for I Could Dom, for example, pretty much all the things that happen in the short are in the feature script, but they're sort of spread out a little bit and tweaked a little bit. But you just kind of like Frankenstein it into this larger thing, or Frankenstein it down, whatever you need to do. But
Right.
yeah, like I said, huge fan of that method.
It's almost a completely different skill set in a way.
Yes,
than
it is.
making
It
a
is.
feature,
And so, yeah, you need to have people around you who can help you craft the script and obviously, figure out production and all that stuff. Because you are doing a different art form completely than a feature or a pilot or whatever it might be. But if you can nail it, it can really be a good tool to have. Whiplash is a great example of a film that
sure,
were having trouble getting funding for the feature. They made a short film version. It crushed on the festival circuit, and now we have Whiplash, the feature that people know and love. So it's people that you wouldn't expect to have to do something like that sometimes still have to do that, because it can sometimes be the best sort of sales pitch that you can offer people in your movie.
Here's a tough question for you, and I ask a lot of filmmakers this. And I'm not a filmmaker. I'm not really into the crowdfunding world like most people are, like most filmmakers are. However, whenever a writer director tells me they're putting together a short and the budget is like $50,000, a piece of me wants to die, because it's too much money, I think, to spend on a short unless you have a very specific distribution plan, you have a very specific marketing plan for it, you know what you're making it for, and if it's a big proof of concept for a sci-fi thing, let's say, okay, then maybe it's you got to take that risk. But I know the cost of everything is expensive. You want to pay your crew, you want to compensate everybody, you want to make it look good. But like, what's that like Goldilocks zone range where it's like, this is the very low end to pull off a basic quote unquote short film, like nothing with huge special effects or anything, just like something like Post Citrus or I Could Knob. You don't need to tell us the budgets that you spent on there, but what's like the low end, and what's like you wouldn't recommend someone spending more than X amount?
It's short films, it is a tough road in terms of getting distributed. It is not common for people to buy short films. So a lot of times when filmmakers are crowdfunding for, a short film, or considering producing, self-investing, it is very much almost considered more of a donation than it is an investment.
Right.
Which, there are a lot worse things to give your money to than someone's art. So I think it's a great way to support other people, particularly people that you know and love who might be filmmakers. But there is a way to do a short film for basically no money at all, right? Like there's a way to use your friends and use a cell phone, be in one location, have two people, like there's, and I've seen great short films that have, there was a short film that ended up winning the under 10-minute award at Aspen Shorts Fest that allegedly, like, they didn't pay any money at all. But I mean, it also was, they obviously have a lot of friends in the film industry, but it was like during the strike. It was directed by Ethan Cooper-Berg, who's like a successful writer and filmmaker, but it was just him and four friends that basically, on screen who did it together. So anyway,
right.
And it won. Like it's good. It looks good. It's very, very simple, 6 minutes long. I also saw a great short called Bad Driver, which is two people in a car that isn't moving. And it's just mostly one person talking, one person listening. Absolutely hilarious. So fun. I have no idea how much they spent on that, but it cannot have been a lot because they were outside in a car that was not moving, and it was two people, and it was 6 minutes long. And again, played at one of the best shorts festivals in the world. So there are the thing that is going to determine your budget more than anything else is your script. If your script is one location and very few actors, and the crew people who are in your circle, who will come in on a favor for free, for very little money, whatever, you can make a short film for less than $1,000. That is really, really good. Now,
it's hard to come up with that concept too.
Right.
Like, what's the really compelling,
Yeah, can be. But it's also, if you have access to high quality performers, like in the case of Bad Driver, it is this woman mostly just like talking and this other woman who's really annoyed with her and listening. And I would have watched it for a full hour. Like I could have watched
Right.
those two performers do what they were doing for such a long time. Ultimately, it was only 6 minutes, but like I felt so drawn in by what they were doing that obviously, yeah, you want a good script and you want a good concept, but it's a good exercise to try to challenge yourself to see what is something that I would enjoy watching. That would be really, really simple to shoot. And I know that the woman who directed Bad Driver talked about in her Q&A that she had a driving phobia. And so this was, and so it was like it was all very personal, right? I think these ones that really sing, it's always, based in this like nugget of personal truth that you've then extrapolated into a story that's fun to film and fun to watch, or fun. I mean, sometimes devastating to film, devastating to watch, whatever kind of film it is. But yeah, I think that the best shorts do have these, specificity. Threads woven in that make it so compelling. So I guess all this to say, your script will determine your budget. So I Can Dom is a 15-minute short film. If I were to account for all the gear that I got for free because I partnered with a production company who wanted to work on this script and offered their services and their gear for free, I did make a $50,000 short film, right? If I were to have paid for all that stuff, we are looking at $50,000 plus dollars.
Sure.
Now, because I partnered with them, which is something that happens because I put my work out there in a table read and they happened to be there and I'd worked with one of them before and we're in the same community, right? Because we know each other and care about each other.
Right.
Because of that, my film now has a technical budget of about $15,000, which was more than I'd ever spent before. But
a reasonable number.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't think that it's unreasonable. And we were able to raise about 11,000 of that through Seed and Spark, which is the platform that I absolutely recommend for makers.
My favorite platform. Shout out to Emily. You're welcome.
Yes, shout out to Emily, who lives in Atlanta, is on the board of Film Impact Georgia with me. She's a woman. And so we raised most of it through that. There were some executive producers who came on outside of that platform. And then I've been paying for some things myself. Like, we ran out of money. So I've been paying festival submissions and stuff on my own, which is fine. Like this is my film. I starred it, I wrote it, I directed it, I produced it. Like this is it. Yeah, I should be putting some of my own money in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that, but also there are people who have maybe a lot of disposable income. And so, throwing $20,000, $30,000 at a short, it could be pretty easy for them. Like, that's great.
Here's my argument. When someone makes a very simple short, again, it's not like, a proof of concept for the next Lord of the Rings or something, right? A very simple idea, a very simple short. They're like, oh, I spent $100,000 on it and it's 30 minutes long. It's like, just spend $200,000 on it and make it. I mean, everyone's in this. You got everyone in the room. You got the things set up, right? You've added a few more locations and then you have a feature. It's just that easy, right? I know it's not that easy, but but if you're gonna go, there's like a certain point where you're past the windmill, to use a Back to the Future 3 reference.
Yeah, I don't. For me, I have, worked on features that I've, written, co-written, sometimes co-directed that have had budgets around $50,000 or lower. And so it is possible. It's absolutely possible. It is hard. It is really hard to, budget buys you more than anything time. Because the more budget you have, the more days you can be on set, the more days you can have on set, the less pressure you have on each and every moment of every single day. So for an inexperienced director, it sucks because it's like the less experience you have, the lower your budget's probably going to be. But these are the directors who probably would benefit from more time, right? To be sure that they're getting what they need. I think that I could there was a way I could have shot it in 2 days, but I'm so, so glad that I shot it in three. And that's why it was the most expensive short I ever did. I gave myself the luxury of extra time, which meant that we were working, you know, usually closer to 10-hour days than 12-hour days. And I certainly wasn't willing to go over 12, but some people have to, so
You got
it's,
room for more takes. You got room for, right? Like if
yeah. And
just not rushed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little less rushed. It's a little more, you want that time to play. You want that time to explore. But yeah, time is the thing that you're ultimately buying. And so I think you just have to consider,
Time
it's
is
like,
good, is what you're saying.
time is great. And there's it's like what is possible and what is preferred and how much can we get? But yeah, you're right. I mean, there's absolutely, having made features for $50,000, yeah, if you give me $200,000, I could absolutely make you a feature. Like that feels like no problem for me personally because of my experiences.
Right.
But for someone else, like that really might not feel feasible at all, and it might feel too taxing and too hard. And so, at the end of the day, we're making movies. That's fun. That's neat. We don't need to be hurting ourselves, killing ourselves, literally, in the case of, there have been productions where that's happened.
There's a sense of permanency to it too. Cause like, I know permanency is dependent on distribution and whoever's carrying it, but you can put it on YouTube and it's there forever, right? Yeah. Until the future, the apocalypse or whatever. Well, let's transition over to, I feel like I'm monopolizing all the questions.
No, well, what I wanted to ask though is, do you feel like, I know you've stayed in Atlanta, you're pretty much this whole time, born and raised, as you said in your pipeline artist's profile, but do you feel like it's easier, maybe? I mean, I don't know if you want to speculate, but is it easier to make these kind of short films on a shoestring budget in Atlanta, where perhaps the community is tighter, maybe people are a little more willing to support each other than in LA proper, or even here in Austin, which is, another film community? So, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and I talked about this when I was in Aspen, a couple of weeks ago. I would like, and a sort of long-term career goal that I have is I would like Atlanta to be the city that people think of when they think of independent film, and have it be the friendliest city for making an independent film, because I do think we are in a unique position to actually make that happen. The hardest things for putting together a high-quality film are obviously high-quality crew, high-quality talent. And we have those things, right, because of the film industry. And I will say, obviously the tax incentives that we have in Georgia have revolutionized our state and revolutionized filming generally. We have so much that films here, which is amazing. Those tax incentives really don't benefit the scrappy boots on the ground independent artist here at all, because the minimum is $500,000 budget wise. So we're not reaping the benefits of that. And so I think that there's an opportunity for us to explore outside of tax incentives. How can a film community and a film industry support independent artists in its vicinity? And I know already, having done it, that there are so many crew people who are hungry for opportunities to actually be craftspeople and not just do grunt work for other people. We're obviously always very grateful to have a job, but I've always been so pleasantly surprised by how gracious and generous crew people will be coming on to one of my projects. And I'm like, I want to pay you more. I want to pay you your full rate. I'm so sorry I can't. And they're like, this is fun. Like, this is where I grow. This is where I get challenged. And so, yeah, there's this really beautiful community here of both, artists on screen and behind the screen, where you are feeling so fulfilled by the project that you're willing to not be paid maybe what you're accustomed to on a larger set. So that already exists. And I am hopeful that over time, we can start to convince some of these other players, like people who own sound stages, to subsidize independent filmmaking right here in Georgia, right? If Disney is paying you for X number of weeks for your stages, like you're probably pretty good. Like they're going to be paying top dollar. Why not offer an opportunity for an independent filmmaker to get a stage for very little money or maybe even no money at all, just to fill the space if there's no one there and, you know, provide an important opportunity. I don't know. I think that there's a way to innovate this city and the industry that exists in this city into something really meaningful and collaborative and productive. And it may be easier here than it would be in some place like LA or New York.
That makes sense.
There's a sentiment, and it's just kind of growing. And I want to preface this with, I understand the sentiment and why it exists, but like the whole, don't do anything for free. Don't write for free. Don't do this for free. Don't do that for free. And it's like, well, too bad you work in the arts and half of the work is like free work. Like you're writing most stuff on like spec, basically. Your brain is working on spec. You know, you're going to have to, there's only so much you can do before it starts to feel exploitative, right? But I don't know. There's just such a gap. I don't have a question here. I'm just half soapboxing, like 1 foot on a soapbox. But I don't know. It's just unfortunate that that mentality seems to be growing because filmmaking and this whole industry is so collaborative. Eventually you're going to have to just jump on projects that you want to support, even not even financially, but just with your time. And I hope that doesn't go away.
I have 3 questions that I ask myself when I'm asked to do a project of any kind. Question number 1 is am I being paid? And sometimes I update this to like, am I being paid like a reasonable rate? Do I know the people who are involved in the project, right? Are they my friends or people that I know through other projects? You know, what's my sort of history with these people? And am I passionate about the project? If I cannot answer yes to 2 out of 3 questions, it's usually going to be a no for me. So that means
that's so smart. Yeah.
Yeah, if I know the people and I'm passionate about the project, but there's no rate or a, you know, sort of really, really low rate, I'm probably still going to say yes to it. So that for me is the sort of barometer that I'm using. But that also means that if I'm being paid and I know the people, but I'm not really passionate about the project, I might say no to that because it doesn't align quite enough with what I'm doing. And then, you know, if I am passionate about the project and I'm getting paid, but I don't really know the group, I'll probably say yes to that too, because, you know, that's enough for me to jump on. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. And I'm certainly someone who I think has been taken advantage of in the past. I am working on being more aware of what my value is and saying no when I need to say no. I do think that's important, but you're absolutely right. Like there's a time and a place to say yes to something that is not going to financially feed you, but it is going to provide you with an opportunity to grow as an artist, to meet other artists at your same level, to create something together that you can be proud of. And these are things that you can't necessarily put a dollar amount on, but that still are, I think, really, really important to at least my life as an artist. I feel like most things that I have done for free have been things that, you know, like ultimately, like how many live comedy shows did I not get paid for? How many, you know, how many classes did I paid to do that? You know, like I'm out here paying for the privilege of some of this stuff. So I have to be careful about saying no when that is a skill that I've had to learn as I've gotten older, and I do feel proud of myself for what I've done. But yeah, I think that it's just as important to know how to say yes to the right opportunities, and you don't want to cut yourself off from something that might really feed your soul just because it's not also going to
feeding your bank account.
Yeah,
right. That's good advice.
That's great advice. I love it.
I didn't write down any questions too. I just winged it. And, you know, I'm glad that was one of the questions that came to mind. Anyway, before we go, I was going to ask you about acting and about Atlanta and about our mutual friend, who I won't even mention because she probably has a huge ego about it. So I don't want to like inflate her sense of
Importance.
Self. Yeah, who needs? Yeah, but I did want to at least touch upon the Sky Blues, which you are adapting, the book by Robbie Couch, I believe.
Yeah.
And how did you, in a sort of a very small nutshell, like how did you get on board that project? And well, let's start there.
Yeah. So I'm represented by the Gotham Group, which is a firm based out in LA. They were sent a short that I was in and co-wrote called Jenna Gets an Abortion back in 2020. Right. And that led to me and my collaborator on that project, John O'Mitchell, being signed. And so they've been awesome. We've gotten to meet with a lot of great people. And we got a message about this book, The Sky Blues. They were looking for pitches from writers to adapt it. And it was so funny because when that book had its Entertainment Weekly exclusive cover reveal, I have a text in my phone from Jono. He sent me the article. He said, and this was many, many months before we ever even knew that this was going to be possible, but he sent me a message. He was like, we have to adapt this book. And I remember I read the description of it and I was like, oh my God, queer kids and bully hunting. Did you write a book?
Right.
And so, we had this text exchange from, 6 months prior to getting this email. And when we pitched it, that was the first slide was, we want you to know that this is a book that we've been thinking about and knew was kind of perfect for us for a really long time. And then obviously we had to do a lot of work beyond that, right? We read the book multiple times. You have to come up with the whole plan of how you would turn it into a feature. We're talking about tone. We're talking about characters. It's a major process. And it was such a lesson for us, like it could have easily gone to somebody else and we would have just done all that work for no money. But a good, and certainly I and he and I both together have pitched on many things that have not been picked up. So I know how it feels to do all that and not win the bid. But in the case of this one, we did get it. And this has also been a big lesson for me in patience because we found out we booked that job in June of 2021. And and
for reference, it was just announced in March of 2024.
They wanted to find a director, and for reasons that are not my business, it took that amount of time to find somebody and then finalize his deal. And then once they had him, they were like, okay, now we'll do the deadline article. And so I've had all people being like, oh my God, congratulations. I'm like, I wrote that script literally 3 years ago. I wrote that first draft so long ago at this point. But it's been cool. It's been kind of nice to have put it down for so long and to now be back in it and doing revisions. It feels like I did write it. It's like a stranger.
It's fresh. It's fresh.
Very fresh. My eyes have never been so fresh on a project before. But what I'm learning is that this is relatively standard, that, projects are just going to move at the pace that they're going to move. And the team was always very communicative. I never felt forgotten or neglected. And it just is how it goes. I absolutely love the people that I've worked with over at Walden and especially the people that we're working with most directly, the pace is not on them either. Who knows a film at this level, so many things have to click into place in order for it to go. And we're feeling really good about this one. We love the director that they've chosen. Michael Medico is just absolutely a delight and a joy and understands exactly what, we wrote and can see, has such a similar vision that we do. So, everything has happened sort of in the perfect way. It's just taken it's just taken a long time.
Yeah, but that is common. There's projects that we have our writers, we set them up with management, and there's stuff happening, but like you can't announce any of it, and it's like frustrating because especially for us, because I want to announce the success story and stuff.
Yeah,
but Hollywood takes a long time. But it's in this case, things may take a long time, but it seems like you have a very positive sort of like team with you. So, and Walden's great. We've sent them stuff in the past, and nothing's kind of clicked yet, but they've always been very receptive, and I'm very happy for you, even though it's 3 years old.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I'll take it now. I'll take it anytime.
Yes. Well, is there anything you would like to plug before we?
Oh my God. Plugging. I'm really excited about I Could Dom. We had our world premiere at Aspen Shorts Fest just a couple weeks ago, and it went really well. And I'm now I'm waiting to hear from like 20 film festivals that, I'll hear from over the course of the next several months. But just keep an eye out for if it's coming to play in your town somewhere. But also, it has its own Instagram now. I Could Dom on Instagram. So you can follow it there. And you can follow me there at MadHat31. My Instagram is essentially just a professional website now. So you will get no authentic human moments from me, but you will get a lot of self-promotion, which people.
What about the videos that you made when the whole what is it? We're Dinks thing happened, and then you spun it with the other. Nikki Garza is a friend of mine who is a very incredible actor first and foremost, but also an influencer online. And she had me do some videos. So those were fun. Yeah, you can see those on my Instagram as well. A little bit of that positive content for you. You can watch Post Citrus for free on YouTube. You can watch Jenna Gets an Abortion for free on YouTube. You can watch a feature that I co-directed, Courtney Gets Possessed, for very little money on Amazon or Vudu. If you go to MadisonHatfield.com, you can find all manner of things.
All manner of things.
Watch and do.
Yeah. So you did have stuff to promote. So
there's always something to promote. But the big thing is I Could Dom. That's sort of my. I'm very grateful that I had it to focus on during the strike, and as the industry sort of slowly works its way back to breathing again, I'm just really grateful to have it. So it's a fun one, and if Billy Magnuson likes it, then you should like it.
Right, that should be the pull quote you use for the poster.
He liked it enough to be an executive producer, and
that's
he's
awesome.
He's in everything. He's the bad guy in Roadhouse.
Sure.
So that's what
greater pinnacle,
guys.
Yeah. Well, I'm very excited for the Sky Blues. We need more stuff like that getting made, because everyone tells you like, why he's dead, this is dead, that's dead. I'm like, well, obviously it's not, because this one's getting made.
Yeah.
That book also sold like 25 billion copies, right? Like that was a very popular book. Excited for that. Excited for your career. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. On the next episode. Michelle.
The next episode.
I don't know. We'll see. It's gonna be it's gonna be an author, mystery author.
Mystery author. Ooh.
I went to Left Coast Crime last week in Washington, and met a lot of good authors. So drop them in. Yes, maybe Madison will adapt it.
I love, honestly, any jobs at all. Send them my way.
All the jobs, I'll just shove them in your direction. Mail to Atlanta. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Madison.
Thanks, you guys.
Bye.
I'm kind of curious. I want to click on AI Companion, but I also don't want to click on it. Oh, it says
summary. Oh, ask meeting questions. Will the AI ask the questions?
I don't know. I'm already scared. I'm clicking cancel.